Welcome to Constant TV, where legitimacy and consistency rule.
The sands of Egypt whisper tales of ancient pharaohs and empires long gone. These whispers carry the echoes of a civilization that once stood as a beacon of culture, knowledge, and power. The ancient monuments with their intricate hieroglyphics tell stories of gods, kings, and the everyday lives of people who lived thousands of years ago. The Nile River, the lifeblood of Egypt, has witnessed the rise and fall of these great empires, its waters flowing through the annals of history. Yet nestled within its vast history lies the era of the Kingdom of Egypt, a period from 1922 to 1953. This was a time of significant transformation where the ancient met the modern, and tradition intertwined with progress. The streets of Cairo, bustling with life, were a testament to this dynamic change. Political figures emerged, shaping the destiny of a nation that was striving to find its place in a rapidly changing world. Urban development surged, reflecting the aspirations of a people eager to embrace the future while honoring their rich heritage. This era marked a crucial transition for Egypt, a time when it wrestled with its past, defined its present, and shaped its future. Independence Day celebrations were filled with hope and pride as citizens rejoiced in their newfound autonomy. The cultural practices and traditions of the early 20th century were a blend of ancient customs and modern influences, creating a unique tapestry that defined the Egyptian identity. The people of Egypt, resilient and resourceful, navigated the complexities of this period with a sense of purpose and determination. From the shadow of Ottoman rule to the rise of a modern nation, the kingdom's story is one of political intrigue, economic development, and social upheaval. The remnants of Ottoman architecture stood as silent witnesses to a bygone era, while the revolution of 1919 ignited the flames of change. Economic activities such as cotton farming and trading were the backbone of the nation's prosperity, driving growth and development. The journey from an Ottoman province to a sovereign kingdom was fraught with challenges, but it was also a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Egyptian people. It is a story deeply entwined with the currents of global power, particularly the pervasive influence of the British Empire. British colonial influence was evident in many aspects of Egyptian life, from the presence of soldiers to the diplomatic negotiations that shaped the nation's policies. The relationship between Egypt and Britain was complex, marked by both cooperation and conflict. The struggle for autonomy was a defining feature of this era, as Egypt sought to assert its sovereignty and navigate the intricate web of international politics. Join me as we journey back in time to uncover the captivating tale of the Kingdom of Egypt. We will explore the vibrant streets of Cairo, the majestic landmarks that have stood the test of time, and the everyday lives of the people who lived through this transformative period. Through archival footage and historical narratives, we will delve into the heart of a nation that has always been at the crossroads of history. The Kingdom of Egypt is not just a chapter in the past. It is a story of resilience, innovation, and the enduring spirit of a people who have always strived to shape their own destiny. For centuries, Egypt lived under the long shadow of the Ottoman Empire. The once mighty land of the Pharaohs was a province within the vast Ottoman domain. While nominally part of the empire, Egypt retained a degree of autonomy, ruled by powerful governors known as walis. However, the seeds of change were sown in the late 18th century with the rise of a remarkable figure, Muhammad Ali Pasha. Muhammad Ali Pasha, an Albanian Ottoman commander, emerged from the chaos of the French invasion of Egypt to become its de facto ruler in 1805. A shrewd strategist and visionary leader, he recognized the need for a modern, independent Egypt. His reign saw a series of sweeping reforms that touched every aspect of Egyptian life. He modernized the army, revolutionized agriculture, and established a public education system. Despite Muhammad Ali's efforts, Egypt's path to true independence was fraught with challenges. The country's strategic location at the crossroads of Europe, Asia and Africa made it a prize coveted by European powers, particularly Great Britain. The British, with their vast empire and naval dominance, saw Egypt as crucial to their interests, especially after the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869. In 1882, under the pretext of protecting their interests, British forces occupied Egypt, establishing a protectorate that would last for decades. The flames of nationalism, however, continued to burn brightly in the hearts of the Egyptian people. The streets of Cairo and Alexandria were often filled with passionate demonstrations as men and women from all walks of life came together, united by a common cause. They waved flags, chanted slogans, and demanded a future free from foreign control. The spirit of resistance was palpable, and it was clear that the Egyptian people were ready to fight for their sovereignty. The First World War, which saw Egypt thrust into the heart of the conflict as part of the Ottoman Empire, further fueled these nationalist sentiments. Egyptian soldiers were conscripted to fight in distant lands, and the war brought hardship and suffering to the home front. The war's devastation highlighted the urgent need for self-determination and control over their own destiny. The shared experiences of the war years only strengthened the resolve of the Egyptian people to seek independence. Following the war, Egypt's calls for independence reached a fever pitch. The streets were filled with fervent protests, and leaders like Saad Zaghloul emerged as symbols of the national struggle. Zaghloul, a charismatic and determined figure, led the charge, rallying the masses and articulating their demands for freedom. The movement gained momentum, and the cries for independence could no longer be ignored by the colonial powers. Finally, in 1922, under mounting pressure, Britain reluctantly recognized Egypt's independence. The decision was a significant milestone, marking the end of decades of colonial rule. The independence ceremony was a momentous occasion, filled with both jubilation and a sense of cautious optimism. While the British retained some influence, the recognition of Egypt's sovereignty was a crucial step forward in the nation's journey towards full autonomy. The country emerged as a kingdom, with Sultan Fuad I, a descendant of Muhammad Ali Pasha, ascending to the throne as King Fuad I. His coronation was a grand affair, symbolizing the dawn of a new era for Egypt. King Fuad's reign marked the beginning of a period of transformation and modernization as the nation sought to establish its identity on the world stage. The legacy of the nationalist movement continued to inspire future generations, shaping the course of Egypt's history. Section 6. Winds of Change, Political Currents in the Kingdom. The newly established Kingdom of Egypt faced a complex political landscape. While technically independent, Britain's influence remained strong, particularly in matters of foreign policy and defense. The Wafd Party, a nationalist movement that spearheaded the fight for independence, emerged as a dominant force in Egyptian politics. The Wafd, led by charismatic figures like Saad Zaghloul, advocated for complete independence and democratic reforms. Section 7. The Nile's Bounty, Economic Development and Discontent. Economically, the Kingdom of Egypt grappled with the challenges of modernization and development. Agriculture, particularly cotton production, remained the backbone of the economy. The Nile River, the lifeblood of Egypt, continued to dictate the rhythm of life and agriculture. However, the country's dependence on cotton exports made it vulnerable to fluctuations in global prices. The period also witnessed the growth of light industries and urbanization, leading to social and economic disparities. Section 8. Shifting Sands, Social Change and Transformation. Egyptian society underwent significant transformations during the kingdom period. The rise of a Western-educated elite brought about new ideas and aspirations. The role of women began to evolve, with increased access to education and greater participation in public life. However, these changes were often met with resistance from traditional segments of society. Section 9. Twilight of a Kingdom, the End of an Era. This chapter delves into the final days of the Kingdom of Egypt, a period marked by immense change and upheaval. The Kingdom of Egypt faced its most turbulent period in the aftermath of World War II. The war had left deep scars on the nation, both economically and socially. The streets of Cairo, once bustling with optimism, now echoed with uncertainty and unrest. The war had weakened Britain's global standing and fueled nationalist sentiments in Egypt. The British presence, which had long been a source of contention, was now increasingly seen as an oppressive force. Nationalist movements gained momentum, with protests and demonstrations becoming a common sight. The disastrous 1948 Arab-Israeli War, in which Egypt played a central role, further eroded public confidence in the monarchy. The war not only resulted in significant military losses, but also highlighted the inefficacy of the ruling regime. The Egyptian people, disillusioned by the failures of their leaders, began to demand change. Amidst this turmoil, a group of nationalist military officers, led by a young colonel named Gamal Abdel Nasser, staged a coup d'état in 1952, effectively ending the Kingdom of Egypt. Nasser's vision for Egypt was one of independence and modernization. The coup was not just a political shift, but a profound transformation of Egyptian society. The end of the monarchy marked the beginning of a new era, one that would see Egypt striving to reclaim its identity and assert its place on the global stage. Under Nasser's leadership, Egypt embarked on a series of ambitious reforms. Land reforms aimed at redistributing wealth, industrial projects designed to modernize the economy, and educational initiatives to uplift the masses were all part of this new vision. The changes were sweeping and aimed at breaking the old feudal structures that had long dominated Egyptian society. One of the most significant events during Nasser's rule was the nationalization of the Suez Canal in 1956. This bold move led to the Suez Crisis, a confrontation with Britain, France, and Israel. Despite the military conflict, the crisis ultimately bolstered Nasser's standing both domestically and internationally, symbolizing Egypt's newfound assertiveness. The end of the Kingdom of Egypt also heralded a cultural renaissance. The 1950s and 1960s saw a flourishing of Egyptian art, music, and cinema. This cultural revival was a reflection of the broader societal changes and the spirit of renewal that characterized the Nasser era. The twilight of the Kingdom of Egypt was indeed the end of an era, but it also marked the dawn of a new chapter in the nation's history. A chapter defined by resilience, transformation, and a relentless pursuit of progress.